Hey y'all, what's up? So I got some energy I can transmute today. Um, you know me, I just like to get right into it. So it's like when people really try to come in your life, acting like they're really there with pure intent to be there, to love you right, to do you right, to be a good friend, to be a good family member, to be a good spouse, to be a good whatever boss, manager, whatever. People really have to understand that when you showing up in these people's life in a way that you're actually being deceptive and you're not really being honest and true and moving in integrity and moving in a way that promotes you being a kind soul, you living and showing up like you know the Holy Spirit live inside of you. Because if you out here doing wrong, you know you gonna get got by God. And then you wonder why stuff falling apart, and you wonder why ain't nothing going right, and you wonder why you can't move up in life and all. It's because of how you do people. It's because of how you show up for people, but more so how you show up for yourself. You think you doing other people wrong. You think you using other people, but really, baby, you're hurting yourself. Y'all, we gotta do better in a heart space of human beings so that way we can stop getting in our own way and stop getting in the way of other people. But at the same time, keeping it real, it's just gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And for those of you who are on the side of this happening to you, hey, babe, it's really just fuel. Why do you think those situations would come up in your life? Yes, they're lessons. Yes, they're there to teach you something and show you something about yourself and all of that. And yes, self reflect, go inside, ask yourself the questions: why is this showing up in my life? Why is this happening? But not on no victim type of mentality. It has to be in a way that you're just being conscious with yourself. You know, when you're a person who has a big heart and you show up for people and you love people correctly and you be there wholeheartedly for people, because it is some of us out there, I know it is. And it's some of them that, it's some of us that's still working on, like, we all got work to do. I'm not saying that nobody perfect in that, but some of us really do be showing up for real, wholeheartedly, like authentically, like what you see is what you get. And I'm finna tell you my flaws, and I'm finna tell you my insecurities, and I'm finna tell you, like, wholeheartedly vulnerable, because vulnerability is strength. People scared to be vulnerable because they scared that they would lose themselves in the process. But sometimes losing yourself is gaining a better you. You can't always be worried about what people are going to say about the choices that you make, because it's your path. You have to go through that. It's a line for you to go through that. And it's not that it's bad nor good. It's neither here nor there. It's neither here nor there. It's neither. It's very much so it is what it is type of mentality. It's very much so um it's a word for it, but I just can't think of it right now. If y'all know what it is, comment it down below. And by the way, I'm Lexi. Period. That's all it takes. So, I, if you're coming across this video, I want you to know that, and I feel the Holy Spirit just came down. I just feel and I know that something great is about to happen for you. Something great is about to happen for you because you keep showing up. You keep showing up authentically. Even when you come up in a situation where you feel like, you could have probably showed up as a better you or whatever, but you still in secret in your secret place in your personal time with God. You still went to him about it and you still talked to him about it and you still confess whatever it is that you need to confess about to with him, or just always keeping God in everything that you do. Baby, I'm telling you, if you move in a way that is not in a victim mentality, that is actually showing up wholeheartedly and pure in your intentions and standing on that and living in your truth, those people that did you wrong they're gonna regret it. They're gonna regret it. They're gonna think that, you know, oh, they got something to laugh about or they got a one up because they rejected you. But everybody knows that rejection is just God's protection. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. And if you don't know that, you know now. Like, y'all, I'm just so happy. Like, I'm just so happy because, I've been in situations in my life that, I've been put in those situations. You know what I mean? And it's like every time I see it happen, I know something good is coming. Something great is coming. As long as you stay pure in your intent and your heart is light and you go to God in everything. Sometimes, like me, look, I'm loyal to a fault sometimes. Like I know it's people out there that we do that. Like we allow our loyalty to trump our common sense sometimes, right? And sometimes you just want to just play it out all the way to the end in a way that you can do it with grace, right? Like it's not even it don't even take all that. It don't take no toxicity. It's about allowing it to unfold naturally and doing it with love. No matter if it go left or if it go right. Like that's all it takes. Like people will try to destroy your image, destroy how other people see you, try to show up as if there is one thing when really it's not. Like it just be so much going on with people. And honestly, I don't like people. I don't. I don't like people. I don't. And I'm gonna be real. I don't. Look at this thing. I don't. I do not like people. But I love people. You know what I mean? Like I love doing what it is that I'm supposed to be here to do for God, according to the people that are here. And according to myself. Like that's why it's good to make sure on your walk you are doing what it is that you can do for yourself and your soul's evolution and growth, to make sure that you're setting it right with yourself and with God. Everything else don't matter. Everything else don't matter. It doesn't. Like it doesn't. The only thing that matters is what God thinks of you. And when you're moving in a way that he is pleased and he is satisfied, that's when you become one of those people that have spiritual protection. And then people wonder, oh, how they came up off of that, or how that happened to them, or like you do something wrong, next thing you know, they hit a lottery. Like you don't know, you never know, you never know, you never know. That's why it's always good to treat people right, because you never know when you're entertaining an angel. You never know. And sometimes we be moving in a way, that I say we. I gotta start saying we, because I gotta make this inclusive of myself, because I'm on this journey just like how y'all are. I am not gonna sit here and act like I'm this spiritual guru and I know everything. And no, the more you know, the less you know. I promise you that. Because the rabbit hole goes deep on everything. The more you know, the less you know. Y'all are beautiful. I just want y'all to know that. Like, you're beautiful. You're God sent. You have a purpose. You have a gift. And you have to learn how to use that for the benefit of you. But more so, it's for the benefit of you in your life, but doing it in a way that you're using it according to God's will over your life. Because we have all these gifts that He gives us. And it's okay if you're in a space where you're down. It's okay if you're in a space where you feel like you can't be authentic because you're living out the version of yourself that your circumstances have created you to be, you know, in regards to that paradigm or that certain programming that has been programmed inside of you that you're trying to break free of. We all have to walk that walk. I'm just grateful that God brought me through and shifted me and broke me out of it. I've had breakthroughs out of certain paradigms and mindset. If you don't know what paradigms, do your homework, look it up, because I ain't finna go all into that because that's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. So look at that if you don't know, if you ain't catching that. But it's deep. Like, you have to know. Lack of people perish due to a lack of knowledge. And we get so caught up in how things are and what they look like that we're forgetting that there is a God that is here, that sits high and looks low, and we do not think how He thinks. We do not move how He moves. Everything is us. It's really like, if I were to go down the rabbit hole for a little minute, living this life is like living a life of illusion. We really could just be a speck of imagination of an image bearer of God that's living out certain forms of life that He wants to experience, because He lives inside of everybody, because He created everybody and everything. And if you don't believe in God, it's okay. It's okay. Just know He still believes in you, because He made you. He made you. He created you. So if you have not gotten there yet, I speak to you too. I speak to you most importantly. Like, it's better to speak to those, that it's better to believe in God. I mean, to not believe in God than to be a believer, believing in God, but out here being lukewarm and doing people wrong and being deceptive and doing all these things. Like, everybody's walk requires sacrifice. Everybody's walk requires healing. Everybody's walk requires living life. But your consciousness is going to determine how you do that. Your hate for sin is going to determine how you do that. Your heart and the courage that you have underneath your loyalty, underneath your choices, underneath your love, underneath your vulnerability, the courage that you have as a person is going to determine how you live your life. I'm not going to make this video long today because I got to eat. I'm on my lunch break. But I just felt to just go ahead and just do this. Like, no, if you're one of them ones that's been caught and an illusion due to your loyalty. When you showed up pure hearted, when you showed up authentic, when you showed up in love and in truth and in light, and you went to God about all of your wrongs and all of your all of your shortcomings, because you ain't got to go to people for that. People gonna talk about you to the day you die. You'll never be perfect. You won't. There's no point of trying to show up to be this perfect individual. Be who you are. Be who you are and be it wholeheartedly. If you know you a person that is, I want to take it to the other end. Like, if you know you a person, like the stuff I wanted to say, but I'm trying to, like, you know what? I'm gonna say it. If you know you was a effed up person, then be it wholeheartedly. And maybe in that place of acceptance, you will find yourself. But don't get everybody else caught up in your extraness because you want to show up being somebody that you're not. And that you even know that's not who you are. You're just operating out of your karmic ways because, or you're operating out of low vibration, or you're operating out of hurt, or you're operating out of hate, or you're operating out of jealousy, or you're operating out of envy, or you're operating out of deceptiveness, or you're operating out of any of, shamefulness, guilt, frustration, venge, revenge, whatever, vengefulness. If you're operating in those areas, stay to yourself the best you can. I know you got to go out and you got to be around people and you got to do your job and you got to go out in this world. But when it comes to actually trying to get yourself involved in somebody's life, don't go in that way. Because not only are you going to put yourself in a situation to lose everything that you already had and better that God had for you because you're not ready, then just stay to yourself. Go figure out who you are. I said that in my last video. If you didn't watch my last video, you might want to go watch that today, because if you want to know where change happens, it happens inside of you. You got to want to change, not for nobody else, not to have a certain outcome. You can't trick God into blessing you. Why folk out here really be trying to force God's hand, like trying to show up, trying to act like you can show up to another divine being out here as if you're not that? You don't think we see you? You don't think we have the answers? You don't think we see right through your deceptiveness because God is going to show us? You don't think our intuition tells us that, and we're going to go and we're going to come and we're going to tell you that we know what's going on and you're still going to deny it? You don't think we know that you're denying it? Especially if you're dealing with someone who trusts themselves, especially if you're dealing with someone who's divine, that lives in the kingdom of heaven, that is a part of the kingdom of heaven. God loves his children and he takes care of them. And he said, do my prophet no harm. Y'all have, we have to make sure we're showing up in a way that we're not trying to control what it is that we want in our life. Because if it's out of control, it's not love. Give people fair chances to show up for you. Because either way, if you don't, you're really just propelling them forward to get more of what it is that you wanted for your life. Like you can't, and you don't want to do that for yourself. You can, but you don't want to do that to yourself, because then every situation, every moment that you have a choice. And in those choices, God is watching and he's sitting there in all of them. Spiritual warfare is real. And we dig ourselves into the abyss of hurt and heartache because of the choices that we make for ourselves. We keep ourselves stuck. We keep ourselves stagnant, but we also can propel ourselves for greater. And if I'm being told to remind you that you are only human. And my prayer life has gotten so much better than it used to be. And I would recommend that you work on your prayer life and stop thinking, especially if you know yourself, if you know yourself and you struggle with certain things in your life. I'm a person, it's like I'm a person that has to involve God in everything that I do because I'm loyal. Because I have such a big heart and I'm empathic and all these things that I know God is using me for in this, walking around in this world, like to bring love and light. And when you're a person like that, it it can get you in some situations. It can get you in some situations. And it's not like that, it's okay. Live it out. Go through the lesson because it's for you. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Go through it and go through it with grace. Give yourself grace, give the other person grace, put yourself inside of their shoes. And 9 times out of 10 we be going through stuff because it's a reflection of something you got going on inside of you anyway. Not saying that what they are is you, not saying that, because the light attracts everything. Remember, if you need to ask God to help you and give and be your strength in situations, or or allow something to transpire to get you to move forward in your life, or whatever it is, ask him. Ask and you shall receive. I'm just happy. It's a beautiful day. I wanted to share this message with you all and know that, again, something great is coming for you. And it's right around the corner, right after your surrender, right after mastering an art of detachment. Because it does take you having to learn detachment in order to surrender. Detachment doesn't mean stonewall, ignore. No, no, it doesn't mean all those things. Attachment means you are not worried about the outcome. You're just showing up wholeheartedly as yourself. Even if it means you retracting yourself and retracting your energy from things so that way you can focus and heal yourself and fill your own cup. It ain't even about nobody else. They can think that if they want to. Let them think that. whatever fills their ego and their cup. But live this life for you. Be the main character in your story. It's nothing wrong with that. But while you're being the main character in your story, make sure you're walking with God doing it. It all works out so much better. You don't have to come out of situations hurt, heartbroken. I've been there too. You're gonna have to go through a few. But one thing that hit me last night was I don't think I want nobody in my life that's never been heartbroken. Because then you won't understand what it's like to have God in your life. And you're gonna do people wrong, and you're gonna betray people, and you're gonna keep them in illusions to feed whatever it is that you need in their life, that they need in their life. So if you're never been heartbroken, don't be around me. Don't go around other people thinking that you really there with the purest intent, because God is closest to the brokenhearted. And the more heartbreak that you have and you go through, just know God is trying to come in your life while you're pushing him away. But sometimes he has to put us in situations because we're so smart. Because if we think we knew everything, and if we think that, some of us are just so smart, some of us are so intuitive, some of us are so, you know prophetic, that there has to be something that he has to do to and that he has to allow to happen in your life to keep you close to him. And I know, in my case, I know he trusts me with heartbreak because he know I will never leave him through it. I never leave him, period. I like that the more heartbreak you go through, the easier it gets to, especially if you're a big hearted person and wear your heart on your sleeve and open to everybody and think that everybody has the purest intent for you. And if you're one of those type people that move, because people are good with words nowadays, people are good with communication nowadays, people are good with all these sayings, because social media has made it so easy for people to understand how the collective of divinity works. But even the enemy shows up as an angel of light. If it comes in confusion, it's not from God. And that's okay. Sometimes you're going to have to learn your lesson to go through it. Just go through it with grace and keep your eyes open. Pay attention, listen to yourself, trust yourself. If you get a if you get a feeling, you got that feeling because the Holy Spirit is speaking through you and he's telling you, yes, this is what's happening. You don't need the validation of that other person. And you can ask them, but if they're still living in those lower vibrational you know, emotions on the conscious scale, go look it up, the conscious scale. It'll help you out. And to understand those emotions, look up emotional intelligence, look up the emotion. It's like this little bubble thing. Maybe I'll post it on here, on the community tab if I can, to show you all what it looks like. But make yourself aware. Make yourself aware of your emotions so that way you can understand what God is speaking. Don't allow your emotions to overtake you. They're there as a signal. They're there to give a message. They're there to help you. I love y'all. And I hope y'all have a great day. If you've made it this far, thank you. Subscribe to my channel, share this message with somebody who needs to hear it. Please go back and watch that last video because I promise you, you'll see the start of change happen in your life. I'm Lexi, and I'm here for you.